Alright, folks, I'm doing the unthinkable and resurrecting this project. Well, I was never intending on stopping doing it, but I just got bored. But this is my commentary for level 23 of Chemical Warfare. It's in the middle of the castle area. Oh god. Trying to get my windows straight here. Okay. So this level uses a texture that is used only a few times in Wolfenstein, but always made like an impression on me because it just kind of jumps out at you, which is maybe what makes it not particularly good for you doing a whole level in, but that didn't stop me. This room is kind of a variant of a room that's in level 7 in Chemical Warfare, which isn't really intentional. It's more just like I'm trying to figure out an idea for an interesting space, so that's what ended up happening. I'd say it's less interesting than the one in level 7, though. This isn't one of my favorite levels really at all, but I liked it more at the time. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it was just that it had its own theme, like designated texture and feel, and I guess like just, you know, having something have a consistent theme, even if it isn't as strong in terms of like the things you interact with, is good, because I mean it makes an impression, like the wall textures, you know, the visuals and the ceiling color, that's like the first thing, well, and the music too to some extent, it's like the first thing that you react to, so even if it isn't as strong as it could be, like, it does make an impression, and, you know, distinguish it, which, you know, was always very important to me to, for each level to be a little different from the last one, be kind of like a different facet of the experience or something. So this is sort of a castle. I guess it's supposed to be, you know, upper class or whatever, but at the last area, it just randomly turns into, well, I won't say randomly, but it just turns into a like a cave area all of a sudden, and that's probably the most interesting thing about the level, is the abrupt shift in theme. I'm just trying to pick up some more health here. Yeah, I tried to take my time on the levels that I did, but you know, I was only 13, 14-ish, and it was just inevitable that like some things weren't going to work out, especially if you do that amount of levels. And I pretty much kept everything, and I didn't, you know, even though I went over them quite a bit, I did, I obviously made mistakes and stuff. Okay, there's a secret here that you need to realize to go to the other side. Of course, I was hoping that chain gun and stuff and everything being in sight was enough to draw you in and make you realize that, you know, make you want to push that wall. And so just in looking for that, you find that this is an area you actually have to go, so it's not a huge struggle. But I don't know, that's an assumption, but I think it's a pretty fair assumption to make. And it, you know, it uses, you know, it assumes like that you're gonna press in the wall, which is not, you know, an unfair assumption. But anyway, this room is just like, there are 3 different little halls and they all connect to the central room, so it's kind of just like an overcomplicated way of you know, branching off and then going back exactly to where you were. But I don't know, it's like, it's one of those things, you have a limited amount of space in the map, so you try to do the most interesting thing that you can, and the thing that you haven't done before. There's a swastika in the ceiling. I don't know why I didn't get the key there. Oh, I was probably playing this without sound. So I thought there might be more guys running around. Yeah. More obstructions. Not sure what's on. Oh yeah, crown. I still have a bit of a flu/cold, so that's why I'm a bit. That's why I probably sound like I do, because I do. So there's an interesting secret here on the other side. It just sends you right to the end of the level, except it's a different exit. I kind of like the idea of having multiple exits, even though it doesn't make that much sense. Like, you can just shortcut the level for no reason. It's kind of, there's no real logic behind it. I just felt like, you know, maybe that next part would be hard or difficult or something, and it you know, I just had the idea to do it. And it's not really a thing that you can justify, but you know, I don't know. I think a lot of the best things, the best decisions a person can make aren't things that really can be justified or articulated in a way that, you know, you would want them to or anything. So that's my feeling on that subject. It's not a secret or anything, though. It just goes to the next level, and you totally miss that area. So in a sense, like, you know, maybe that area was a dream or something. I don't know. Yeah. So here we're going to the most interesting part of the level, where it sort of shows the underbelly of all this. Of course, I don't really think of, like, none of the levels that I make are really, you know, nice and neat and symmetrical. And this one, the design, like, isn't that much different from, like, if it had a different texture on it. Like, I don't think I approached it all that much differently. Which is unfortunate, because I did really well in some other levels, but this one I didn't think I know quite what to do. So if I would do it again, I think it would, you know, be more open sort of areas, more like columns and stuff, you know, more like kind of big, like kind of stately, dramatic settings, and then fall into the, like the cavey stuff. But it was kind of a missed opportunity, maybe. Like, that room is very, you know, nice and symmetrical, and it's probably the kind of room that the level should have a lot of, but missed opportunity. So here's that area I've been talking about. First thing you see is blood. This is kind of one of those, put your hand on the left wall and just keep going on the left wall, because it's hard, it's kind of difficult to navigate otherwise. It's not as huge as, you know, some of the mazes in the original Wolfenstein. I think also, maybe, I don't know if you can navigate by the blood splats. I think that's the thing in Wolfenstein. Here's my favorite room in this map. In the corner, like, all these dogs come out, and then there are more guys too, but it's kind of a disorientingly shaped room, because you don't exactly know how many guards are coming from that direction, or how big the room is going to be. But yeah, they all come from over there. The lights are in, like, a strange row. It's not quite a complete row. I don't know. Trying to do another interesting light pattern. That's, like, suggestive in some way. This music is called Pounding Headache. I somehow associated it with this level. I'm not sure why. This one is definitely kind of a disappointment after the previous level. It should have been a big, but I was too afraid to go big too early in the mod. So here's the key. Key. And then we're essentially done. There isn't much left. You just have to backtrack, basically. Oh, the last room is kind of vaguely inspired by the ending room in the last couple rooms in episode 5, level 6, and also episode 3, level 8, which are two of my favorite levels. And there's also because they're very similar in like pattern and approach, even though one's by Tom Holland, one's by John Romero. I have a secret level which is a couple levels from now, that is kind of very heavily inspired by both of them, so you'll see that pretty soon. This is kind of a weaker version of, but that's also where the marble texture first shows up as it's episode 5, level 7, sorry. And so it made sense to me to do that. I kind of had this problem where I rehashed things from the original, and sometimes they were more interesting, and other times it felt like it's just kind of a weaker version of things that were in the original. I definitely wish I would have had more confidence in like what I was doing and tried to come up with something else instead of, doing this whole memories thing. I think that there's a lot of, I talked about this before, but there are a lot of Doom mods that are like that too, that try to, do the same approach as the original mappers, and I think that's kind of a waste of, exploring your own sort of ideas and vision. I think people get too caught up in nostalgia, and I definitely did, but I was also only like 14, so... Okay. Well, that's the end. Stay tuned for level 24.